Hey guys, it's Kurt from Fieldcraft Survival. I'm here to talk to you about everyday carry with blades. Hey, there's a lot of different information being permeated throughout the community as far as carrying a knife in self-defense. A lot of different considerations when we're talking about fixed blades, folding knives, where we actually carry them on our body, just the educational process about what is practical when using a blade every day. So I've got in front of me right now, I've got a Winkler fixed blade knife, and I want to talk about a fixed blade a little bit. So in my personal opinion, a fixed blade is kind of what you want to run. So there's a couple different ways that you can run this, one of those being concealed on your belt in typically a leather sheath or some type of a sheath that protects you from the blade, and when the blade is actually drawn out of the sheath, you can use it in a self-defense type situation. So on this Winkler blade, obviously there's the blade side here. On the top, it's got some finger grooves cut out on the handle itself, and then you can see the top here actually has some serrated edges to use with your thumb. The next thing I'm going to talk about is a folding knife. I don't think a folding knife is a very practical knife to use in self-defense. Typically in the military and even as a civilian, you know, this is something that you're going to carry in your pocket. If you absolutely had to use it to defend yourself, you could probably do that, but definitely not the preferred blade to use in self-defense. So the last one that I want to talk about is one that we recommend at Fieldcraft Survival. As you can see, this knife is actually carried in a Kydex sheath, and it's actually set up to be carried as an appendix carry blade. So it's very similar to that of carrying an appendix carry pistol, and the blade itself actually draws the same way. This blade is called the Colonel from Colonel Blades, and so I'm actually going to demonstrate this for you. I'm left-handed, so that's why the Kydex holster is set up this way. You can see here that it's got two plastic clips that actually go inside of your pants, and then those plastic clips mount over your belt. So that way it gives the Kydex holster retention inside of the waistband. As you pull this blade, the blade comes out, and the blade itself, you can see how the handle's set up almost like a pistol. So if you can imagine when you draw this thing out of your waistband, it draws much like a pistol when you go to index it. So the reason why that makes sense as far as efficiency is concerned is because if you're running a gun, a concealed pistol, or you're running a blade, it draws the same way. So it kind of it meets the intent of keeping training the same as far as when you go to draw the knife itself. You can see here the blade actually comes off of the knuckle. It's about 4 inches in length, and it's actually designed, there's no special karate or anything that goes along with this blade. It's actually designed to just punch your attacker. And so there isn't a whole lot of training that goes into using this. This blade actually comes with a trainer from Colonel Blades, which allows you to practice the striking motion to learn how to use the blade. But when it comes to efficiency and simplicity, this is the blade we recommend because it is so easy to use. And typically speaking, most of us have grown up and been in a fist fight. And so if you know how to protect yourself and punch, you can easily use this concealed blade. So this is what we recommend at Fieldcraft Survival. Again, this is the Colonel blade. Comes in a Kydex holster, mounts appendix carry. Super easy to use, super efficient, makes a lot of sense. So the practical application of the Colonel blade, what we feel at Fieldcraft Survival and training with the guys that actually started the company, so it was a great educational process to be able to do that. So when we learn from these guys, they're experts in fighting with blades, and they've been doing it a long time. And for a long time in the industry, it was taught that you could do all this different types of martial arts where you're taking a blade essentially and you're slashing and you're doing all these movements. Well, I think from a practical standpoint, what we've learned is that stuff all looks cool, but from an efficient standpoint, using a fixed blade or even a folder to try to slash somebody and create enough wound or cavities and wounds and all these different things to protect yourself, it's not real, because when you're slashing with a blade, you have to get through clothes. So it's not actually getting puncture wounds that are going to push the attacker away and make them disengage from you, which is the whole intent of defending yourself. So imagine having your hands up. One is actually protecting your face so you're not getting hit if you're defending yourself, and now you're just using this in a boxing motion, and you're punching and you're creating wounds to disengage the attacker from you. Along with the kernel blade, on the back side of the handle, you've got a dual purpose hardened edge. You can use this to break glass. You can also use this to strike the attacker that's coming at you. So that's a good dual purpose feature on the back side of the knife. And again, 4-inch blade coming off the top of the knuckle, making this an extremely effective tool to defend yourself. If you're looking to pick up the kernel blade, you can find it at bravocompanyusa.com. You can also find this on thekernelblades.com. Watch and subscribe. Don't forget, stay alert, stay alive.